Hey everyone, Dan Mortimer with eXp Realty, and April has come and gone, so it's time for a monthly market update. This is for data in April of 2025. I feel like I say this on just about every video that I do, but this year is flying by. It's crazy to think. It feels like we were just breaking into the new year and getting things started in 2025. We're already a third of the way done with the year, which is crazy to me. But let's go ahead and dive into the numbers for April and see where things stand in our real estate market. Doing this report or this update from a little bit of a different place. I'm actually hosting an open house this weekend. So if you're near the lakes, come and see me. But yeah, wanted to put this update video together for you guys, and let's dive into the data, see what's going on with the market. So first and foremost, the median sales price. This is the one that's in the middle, so it's not the average. When they're doing home sale prices and reporting that data, they do the median. That way it doesn't get skewed if there's a massive sale that will lift up the average. So the median is usually a better indicator of the overall market. So the median sale price for a single family home in April of 2025 was $480,000. That is a 2.3% increase from last April, but when you compare it with March of 2025, it's actually a 1% drop. If you recall, the last 3 months, January, February, and March, we actually had record prices for the median on a single family home. It was $485, so it came down a little bit, down to $480. As far as condos and townhomes, the median sale price was $302,700. That's a 4.4 year-over-year increase, so 4.4% over what we had last April. But when you compare it to March, again, down a little bit, 1.2% drop from March. Now, getting into the number of closed sales, in April of 2025, we had 2,174 single-family home sales closed. That's a 7.1% drop from last year, but when you look at the month-over-month numbers, comparing it to March of this year, it's a 1.5% increase. Now, going into the condos and townhomes, there were 544 closed sales of condos and townhomes. That is a 12.4% drop from last year, so pretty big drop, and then a 4.6% drop from last month. So again, in the condos and townhome space, we're seeing the number of sales dropping even further. And getting into the new listings, we had 3,663 new listings that hit the market in April. That's a 27.5% increase from last year. So a pretty big jump year over year. And then the month over month, it was a 9.7% increase as well. A lot of this is seasonality. You know, as the real estate market picks up, we see more listings hitting the market. And like I've mentioned in a few of my weekly update videos in the past, you get sellers that have been sitting on the sidelines waiting to make a move. And now they're saying, all right, enough is enough. Let's get the home on the market. Let's start making our plans so that we're settled in our new place before the school year starts. So 3,663 new single family listings, an increase month over month, and a big increase year over year, 27.5%. That's a big jump. Going into the condos and townhomes, there were 1,015 condos and townhomes listed in April of 2025. That is a 17.2% year over year increase, so big jump there. But it is a 3.6% drop month over month, so 3.6% lower than what we saw in March of 2025. Getting into the solds, we had 657 of the home sales in April were sold with cash. 657. You had 1,255. Sorry, I'm trying to read I don't have my usual screen to read the data off of. So I got a little one that I'm trying to read as best as I can without my glasses. 1,255 were sold with conventional financing. Another 578 were sold with FHA financing, and 257 were sold with VA financing. So very interesting to see the conventional still kind of dominating things, but a lot of cash buyers. We are really seeing investors continue to pour into Las Vegas. We're seeing people coming in from California that are buying houses cash. and a lot of investors still putting their money into the Las Vegas market. So a lot of people still buying properties cash, or people that have had their homes here for a long time. They built up enough equity that they can sell and they can buy their next home with cash. So still making up, what is that, about maybe a quarter of the total sales, 650 out of about 2,700 total sales. So definitely still a factor, but a lot of people getting financing. I mentioned it, I think I mentioned it on one of these videos before, but we did see when the tariffs were announced and it looked like they were going to be taking effect, and I'm not an expert in that at all. I'm not super in tune with the geopolitical affairs of the world, but when we saw those take effect, one of the impacts, in addition to the stock market volatility that we had, was that we saw a very, very short-lived drop in rates, and they dropped for maybe a day or two. But during that week that all came out, we saw a 20% increase in the number of mortgage applications across the country. So I think a lot of buyers are still sitting on the sidelines waiting for either interest rates to come down, prices to come down, whatever that may be. That seems to be a pretty common conversation that I'm having with a lot of people. But there are also a lot of folks that are looking at either incentives that new construction builders are offering, or they're starting to see homes either get down to the prices that they're comfortable with, or they're seeing new listings popping up at attractive prices, and people are still moving. There's still a lot of activity happening in our market. It's just not chaotic like it was in 2020, 2021, and the beginning of 2022. But we are definitely seeing more overall activity, even if some of the sales are a little bit lower than they were in the spring of last year. It'll be interesting to see how things continue to play out. I mentioned in my past monthly market update videos that there was a chance that we would see that record price continue to go up. That still may happen. But I think until we start seeing more buyers coming into the market, the prices are probably going to stay pretty stagnant, at least in the short term. But we're still early in the season. We're just into the beginning of May here, and so it'll be interesting to see how things play out as the summer rolls along. As far as new construction goes, there are tons of new construction communities, and what I see for a lot of people, especially people that are saying, hey, I'm ready to buy, I want to get something, but I need a better interest rate, new construction is still a very attractive option. I've been in several communities where they're offering discounted rates. Some of them, they'll offer a discount for the first couple of years. Maybe they'll knock 1 or 2% off of your mortgage total for the first year. Maybe it'll be a 2% discount, then it goes to a 1% discount, and then you're paying the regular market rate that you had locked in when you bought for years 3 through 30 of your mortgage. But I'm also seeing a lot of builders that are offering 30-year incentives. I've seen communities where they're offering, 5.99%, 5.5%, even some as low as 4.99 or 4.5 in a few rare instances, and that's for the full 30-year term. And so these builders are motivated. They're motivated to move inventory. Some of them have standing inventory. Some of them, depending on the phase that they're in the community, maybe they're not quite as far along, so you still have that full 6 to 9 month build out for a home. But a lot of them are standing on inventory that's either ready to move in now or will be ready within the next 30 days. So they are motivated to move these homes, and they're offering great incentives. So for me, you'll come across situations where, because of the rate discounts that some of these builders are offering, you can actually get even more home because you're getting such a big discount on the rate. So your monthly payment is basically the same, or in a lot of cases even lower than what you were expecting, because you were calculating based on a 7% interest rate, or 6 and 8, or 6 and 7/8, or whatever the market rate may be now. Saving that 1.5, 2, in some cases 2.5% on your mortgage, it basically gets you an extra $100,000 to $150,000 in purchasing power on the home that you want. And again, there are variables. I'm not an expert in that. I would talk to a lender, connect with builders. I'd be happy to put you in touch with people. But that is an option where, if you're waiting for the rates to go down, getting into a new construction home may be the best option for you, because they have such stellar incentives in a lot of cases. And again, it's not market wide. I've worked with some that they offer very little discounts. Maybe they're moving their inventory very quickly, so they don't need to beef up the incentives as much, or they're at the early stages of the community, so they're not necessarily trying to lock people in. They're just kind of seeing how things play out. But I hope you guys got some value from this video. If you did, there are two ways that you can support this channel. The first is the easiest: subscribe. You can get notifications when I post new videos. And I try to post at least a couple a week if possible. And then the other way that you can support this channel is I put a link in the description of this video where you could set up a one-on-one meeting with me over the phone, over a video call, or we can set up a time to meet at a coffee shop or something like that. But it gives me a chance to get to know you a little bit better, learn about what your real estate goals are, and we put a game plan in place to help you to achieve those goals. It's really straightforward. There's no commitment or anything like that. I don't charge for these. Really, my goal as a real estate professional in this area is just to connect with people and help you to achieve whatever your real estate goals are: buying, selling, moving across town, coming into Vegas, getting out of Vegas, buying, selling, renting, whatever that may be, investing. I work with a lot of investors these days. So, but that link gives you an opportunity to meet with me. Again, there's no cost, there's no commitment, nothing like that. So I hope you guys got some value from this video and enjoyed it. I will see you at the next one.